a nice round of applause because we have given up our families, we have given up our jobs to be here to support AFC. All right. I'm going to ask all of you, because it's a very important reason why I came here. I left my home and everything to be here with all of you. And I'm going to ask you a very important question. And it's all going to depend on how loud you can scream. Do you want to change history for Guyana? Next question. Are you ready to change history for Guyana? As my brother Nigel introduced, my name is Diane Madray, for those of you who don't know. To my left, this young lady right here, and I'll tell you who she is. Her name is Tiffany Jackson.
All right.
To my right, her name is Cheryl Inderdo.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you who they are in a second. Before I can tell you their story, let me tell you mine. I'm going to give you the short version. I grew up primarily in Georgetown. I left Guyana very young during the times when many Guyanese migrated for better reasons, just like Angela and myself. And during that time, they called it the brain drain. And I know many of you heard about that. Many of you have families living in America.
Yeah.
You got families living in Canada.
Yeah.
You got families living in the United Kingdom. And every place else, right? Now, the thing about it, I've been coming to Guyana for the last 8 years. And the reason being is because my mother grew up in King Grove, which is up on the East Coast by Mahaika. And I'm kind of like half Barbician too, because my father is from Bad Settlement. Now, losing my mother to lung cancer sort of like made a really big change. And what happened was, 8 years ago, I started to come back to Guyana, and I started an after-school program, which is also a community center. And one of the things that I want to see, also here in New Amsterdam, is more after-school programs for the children. Now, that's located in King Grove. But what I've also done, and many of you may have heard the Break the Silence group, which consisted of a young lady right here from Berbice, who came out and spoke about her violence, her domestic violence against her husband. Her name is Sucre Bodram.
Yes.
Then we also have, who joined me on that effort, is Varshni Singh, as well as one of the columnists from the newspaper, Stella Ramsaroop. And guess what? Last year, on November 25th, we began to break the silence in Georgetown. But we didn't leave you guys out. We came out to Berbice as well, and around Guyana, and began to create the dialogue amongst all communities to build the public awareness against domestic violence. Last November 25th is where I met these two young ladies, Cheryl Indigo and Tiffany Jackson. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's an important day. And for AFC, they have recognized in terms of this is one of the last days for the rally. But here's what I want you to do. It's so important because a year ago I came here and I can't tell you how touched I have been and how many women have died. How many of you have mothers, sisters, friends who have died within the last year or so from domestic violence? Raise your hand and I know there's some of you right here, right now, who are going through domestic violence who may not want to speak up. But here's the thing about that. We need more service for our women, don't we? We need more for our single mothers. Let me hear you shout. Okay, let me just ask Tiffany to just give you she is a single mother. And she came to us last year. I'm going to have her just tell you a brief story of herself.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I'm a single mother, and I know that there are many single mothers here. All the single mothers, let me hear you shout. But guess what? We need change. We need persons who can represent us. We need a government who would ensure that domestic violence victims receive justice. Isn't that so? Come November 20th, I want to encourage you that we must vote for change. We must vote for AFC.
All right, and to my right, this young lady right here is a very important woman. You might not recognize that, but let me tell you just briefly about her. How many of you last year heard a story about Pinky? You heard a story about Pinky. This was a young lady whose husband chopped her with a cutlass and killed her, left her with 2 children. And you see this woman right here, this is her mother. And she has a hand right now that has been somewhat, damaged because of that. And here's the thing about it. And I'm going to say this out loud, and I don't give a damn. There's somebody here who's taking notes, so let me spell my name out correctly for you. It's D-I-A-N-N-E-M-A-D-R-A-Y. I hope you got it right. And in any event, this young lady here, she lost her daughter, and the gentleman came back into the country, absconded. Police have not been able to find him. I have called from the U.S. and I've done so many things, but I alone cannot do this. We need a better government in order to provide better services for women. And I'll tell you something. These guys were going through election time, and I know it's difficult, and I did reach out to them. But I promise you, I've been coming here for the last 8 years, and if you vote AFC, I give you my commitment to the country of Guyana and to you people, and to all my sisters out there. Now, let Cheryl tell you a little bit about her, because it's been a very difficult time. It's 1 year later, and we have not been able to find this guy.
Good evening. Comrades, on behalf of the women of Guyana, I would like to say that we need a change in Guyana. Yes, we need a change, because there is violence, there is crime in our country, and no one thinks about us. My God